Hey everybody, Des Soper here, Emerald Ambassador with Plexus, and I wanted to hop on here today to tell you a little bit about my experience in the past with intermittent fasting and tell you about the freedom that I found with using intermittent fasting in my daily life. So when I first learned about intermittent fasting, like Sable had said, I was absolutely one of those people that thought it meant I was going to have to starve myself. I am a big, huge foodie. I love food. So starving myself was not something that I was really interested in. That I had absolutely no interest in it whatsoever. And then it kind of started catching on. People were talking about it more. So I started kind of looking into it. My team and I did an intermittent fasting challenge a few months ago, and I didn't really understand much about it to really dive into it. I thought that I had to eat in this window, I had to fast in this window, and there was absolutely no getting out of that. So, and if I did get out of it, then I failed. So what I found during that intermittent fasting was when I first started with intermittent fasting, something that my family and I have always kind of struggled with was eating at a decent time, and also eating at that decent time but regularly. So we always sometimes we eat at 5:30, sometimes 6, sometimes 7, 7:30, 8 o'clock. And so that was something that I knew going into intermittent fasting was that I was going to have to change that lifestyle. I had it in my head that this is the time that we need to eat by. And if we don't eat by this specific time, then I'm out. I can't do this anymore. I even told my husband we need to eat by 6 o'clock. I need to be done eating so that I can start my fasting. So inevitably I failed. We ended up eating 6:30, 7 o'clock. I tried to meal prep, I tried to meal plan, and it just didn't work out for me. And so what I found was I got down on myself. I felt like I was a huge failure, that I didn't do this thing that I set out to do, and I was so excited about it. And I just got really down in the dumps. So the next challenge for intermittent fasting came along, and I found that I kind of, not necessarily was doing it wrong, I kind of had the wrong mindset about it. And I realized that there was more freedom with intermittent fasting than I had allowed myself the first time around. So intermittent fasting, basically what it means is you are eating during this window and you're fasting during this window. It doesn't mean that you have to stick to this specific time limit as far as, oh, I'm only fasting from 6 o'clock at night till 10 o'clock in the morning, and those are my specific times. It's not the 6 to 10 fasting. It is an 6 and 18 fasting, or 18-6 fasting. Or 16-8, 16-8 fasting. So it is not this strict specific time set for fasting. And what I found was that sometimes we would eat a little bit later than 6 o'clock, and that would be okay, because I would just start my fast when I stopped eating. And that was something that I had to allow myself some grace, that sometimes there were classes that we had to do late at night. There were places that we were at late at night, or we were at a friend's house, or we didn't get dinner done by 6 o'clock. And I would just start my fast as soon as we were done with eating our dinner. And one of the ways that helped me keep on track with this that I didn't do the first time around was using the Life app. I know that there are other apps out there, but I was using the Life app. And what I really loved about it was that I could stop eating, go on my app, hit the start button, and it calculated for me, because I had put in all my information. I had told the app what hours, how long I wanted to fast for. And I put in those specific hours and it calculated it all for me. It said, okay, I'm starting my fast at 6:30. I'll be done fasting at 10:30. And what I really enjoyed seeing was that when I started my fast, on the little circle there, it would show this kind of fat burning. It would show a little fire, and it would tell me when I was in ketosis. So that is what Sable had talked about earlier, about your body. Once you hit this 12-hour mark, your body starts going into ketosis and it starts burning fat. And that is what you want to aim for. So if you are going, if you're starting your out, whatever time you're starting your fast, allow yourself some grace. Don't be sticking to that specific time. Oh, I have to get done with dinner by 6 o'clock to start my fast. It's whatever you started at. So when I first started, I wanted to do 6 to 10. Sometimes I ended up doing 7, and then I'd have to adjust the time that I would end my fast to 11. So I just kind of adjusted the time that I would eat the next day to whatever my 16 hours was up at. So that was extremely helpful for me, and allowing yourself just some grace. So, and that was another thing that Sable had talked about. If you're hungry earlier than when your app is saying it's time to eat at, have a snack. Do whatever it takes. Like if you feel like you are going to pass out, there will be that little window where you're like, oh, I'm starving. I'm so hungry. I can't wait to get past this window. And I just want a little bit of a bite. I'm starving. I just want to shove stuff in my face. That is the time when you want to be drinking water. A lot of the times when we're hungry, and this is a scientifically proven fact, that when we say we're hungry, when our bodies are telling us that we're hungry, what our bodies are sometimes telling us is that we're just thirsty. So sometimes you can stave off that hunger with just drinking a glass of water. And that would be what I would do when I'd start to get really hungry, is I would just take a glass of water, and that would, get me over the next couple hours. So I just wanted to share my experience. So now intermittent fasting has become so much easier for me. It's not as regimented as I thought it needed to be. So I hope this helps you out. Please let me know if you have any questions, and allow yourself grace. You can do this. You are not, once you don't make your window one day, it's not all over for you. You can hop back on the next day. And like Sable said, she fasts for 5 days, and on the weekends, she allows herself some freedom. So there's absolutely freedom with all of this. So thank you so much for joining us, and thanks for watching, and have a great night.